The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, is the middle chapter of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And it is a lot of people's favorite of the three. I think that it's actually Peter Jackson's favorite movie of the entire thing. And I absolutely really love this movie. Just not as much as Fellowship or Return of the King. I think that it is probably the weakest chapter of the three movies for me personally, but there's still so much to enjoy here. And I really like that it's a darker chapter and there's a lot of action. There's a lot of action in this movie. And I also like that we see all of these characters split into different groups, kind of like The Empire Strikes Back, and we follow every character on their journey, and it is just so well done. And this movie is incredibly well directed, and it has really barely any boring moments throughout the film. I think the only boring stuff for me is with Treebeard. I think that sometimes the scenes with Treebeard is a little bit boring, but I think that it's meant to be that way, so you kind of have to go with it. But yeah, this movie is just really exciting. It has an incredible battle in Helm's Deep, which is a lot different than in the books. And I think that Peter Jackson has been criticized for that. And I do agree with some of the criticisms of that battle, but it is really well filmed and it is just really satisfying. I love the Battle of Helm's Deep, even though it's not book accurate. I think I can let that pass. To me, Two Towers is the movie that's the most different from the source material. There's a lot of things that are different here. The timelines are different. What happens to Faramir here is different. I love the actor that plays him. I think that he does a wonderful job playing Faramir. And I think that some of these changes are warranted. There's one change I think we could have done without here, and I'll explain it later in the video. But overall, I think most of the changes in the Two Towers work, and I like this movie a lot. I think that it's a very satisfying sequel. So, without further ado, the movie starts with Frodo's dream. He has a dream of the fight between Gandalf and the Balrog, and it is awesome. Frodo has had many visions in the books, and I think that this was a real vision of what really happened between Gandalf and the Balrog, and it is epic. And so the two hobbits they travel through the mountains through Emmenmul, and they are tracked by Gollum. And Frodo knows this; he knows that they're not alone, and they are able to capture Gollum at night when they pretend to be sleeping, and they are now in control of Gollum. And Frodo frees Gollum, and he tells him to bring him to the Black Gate of Mordor. And Gollum does this, is true to his word for the most part of his movie because of his master's kindness. Which is kind of a departure from the book Gollum. There's no like split personality in the book, and he doesn't really turn good at all into Two Towers. He mostly remains the same, and he betrays the hobbits in the last chapter of like the second book in Shelob's Lair. And so Gollum leads them to the Black Gate, and we cut to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli hunting Merry and Pippin. This is one of my favorite parts of the film. I love seeing them going after their friends, and Gimli, he's trying to keep up. I don't know why. I laugh every time Gimli is just trying to run after them, and he has trouble keeping up. There's also this fantastic error here where they are running, and Gimli has this moment where he loses his boot as he runs. It's really a great shot. I think that it's hilarious. So they enter Rohan, and they are ambushed by a group of Rohirrim soldiers, and they meet Eomer. And I love the back and forth between Gimli and Eomer, and like he says, "Give me your name, horse master, and I shall give you mine." It's just a fantastic line. Gimli is just a hilarious character. They get off on the wrong foot, but they still end up talking, and Eomer actually tells them that they killed all the Urukai and they burned all the corpses. They didn't see any hobbits with them. And so they give the company horses, which would have been really kind of useful as of now if they had horses to follow Merry and Pippin and the Urukai. So they take the horses, they leave the Rohan soldiers, and what's interesting here is that the Rohan soldiers are mostly played by women, which is kind of interesting. They have fake beards. They are mostly women, and I think they did this because they mostly knew how to horse ride. I think that's mostly the reason. And so they go to the pile of the burned corpses and they search for the hobbits, and they find like the belt. Vigo broke two of his toes while filming this scene. It's just really well known amongst Lord of the Rings fans, and he screams, and it's a really powerful scream too. Viggo Mortensen is just excellent in the Two Towers. This is mostly like his movie, in my opinion. Like, he is the main character of the Two Towers, and so he finds the tracks of the two hobbits, and he discovers that they actually escaped in Fangorn Forest, where trees come alive. And so they venture into the forest and they meet Gandalf the White, who has been resurrected by Eru Ilúvatar so that he can finish his journey in defeating Sauron, because he was the only wizard that was actually doing his job correctly in fighting Sauron. So Eru gave him his life back, and he gave him an upgrade, and he has become Gandalf the White. A lot of people don't love Gandalf the White. I do. I think that Gandalf the White is awesome. I think I prefer Gandalf the Grey, but Gandalf the White I have no problem with. So Gandalf tells them that Merry and Pippin are quite safe with Treebeard, and he leads Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas to Rohan, to King Theoden, who has been possessed by Saruman, and he is being manipulated by Wormtongue, and he has forsaken the people he loves, his family. He has sent Eomer away, but that's all because he is controlled and he is possessed. And I love the moment here where Aragorn speaks with Gandalf, and Gandalf thinks that Frodo went to Mordor alone, but Aragorn tells him that Sam went with him, and you can see how happy he is. I don't know, it just makes me really glad inside. In the books, it's a little bit different. Like, in the books, he's not possessed, he's actually manipulated, and he lost his way a little bit. We don't see an exorcism in the books. I love the movie version. I love when they arrive at Rohan. And Gandalf has Shadowfax now. Eowyn is actually one of my favorite characters of the film. I think that she is really well written. And there's this sort of love triangle between Aragorn, Eowyn, and Arwen that takes place in the Two Towers. And I don't mind it overall because it's not really all that important to the overall film. It's there, but it doesn't take that much screen time. Unlike the love triangle in the Hobbit movies, that one is just really hard to get through, but I think that the love triangle here is done relatively well. They free Theoden, and this scene is awesome. It's one of my favorite scenes in this entire film. They arrive at the Golden Hall, and Gandalf manages to keep his staff, and he pretends that he's still Gandalf the Grey, and they enter the hall. Gimli has captured Wormtongue, while Legolas and Aragorn, they take care of the guards. Gandalf walks towards Theoden, and he performs the exorcism. It is awesome. It's a great sequence. And then he manages to get rid of Saruman's influence over Theoden. King Theoden, he becomes normal again. His wrinkles are all gone, and he becomes a normal man again. And he takes up his sword. He takes his sword, and he sees Wormtongue, and he wants to kill that son of a bitch. And who wouldn't, right? And they drag Wormtongue outside, and he's about to kill him, but Aragorn tells him not to do it. There's been too much blood spent. And they let Wormtongue go. Wormtongue is actually pretty lucky here because they could have easily have killed him and end his life. but they let him go. They have the funeral for Theodred, who died, slain by orcs. And I love Owen's song here. I love Theoden's line, like, a parent should never bury their children. Bernard Hill was a fantastic addition to these movies, and he is really phenomenal as King Theoden. Like, he is one of my favorite characters of the sequels. And he just bursts out crying, and it's a really well done scene. And then they have Rohan survivors, like they find children that escaped a burning village. Saruman is burning villages, and he is attacking Rohan. Like, he wants to conquer the land. And he has an army of 10,000 Uruk-hai, and King Theoden decides to leave Rohan, and they go for Helm's Deep. Which, in hindsight, is probably the best move they could have done, because they wouldn't have survived in Rohan. So they did the best thing they could have. They go to Helm's Deep, and Gandalf leaves. He leaves to go find Eomer, and they are attacked by wargs as they travel from Rohan to Helm's Deep, and Aragorn falls off a cliff. He survives and sees the army of 10,000 Uruk-hai as he is on his horse, and he goes to warn the king. Of course, the shot where he arrives in the Golden Hall is epic. Of course, they don't have a lot of men soldiers with them. I think that is probably my least favorite change in the entire trilogy. The army of Rohan is quite small compared to in the books. They had much bigger numbers. And I feel like this wasn't really quite realistic. And I understand that Peter Jackson wanted to unite men and elves here. And I don't mind the elves showing up, like I said. I just feel like they could have done maybe a better job. They could have shown up a little bit earlier. Because it feels very Hollywoodized. It's the most, like, Hollywood chapter in the entire thing. Which is fine. Like, I don't hate the change. Like, orcs could have been maybe manageable, but Uruk-hai are even stronger. And so, yeah, it's just really hard to kill them all. And they managed to defeat them, but, like, really narrowly. The rain starts, and the Uruk-hai arrive, and war begins. And so Merry and Pippin, they try to convince Treebeard to help them in their war. They want Treebeard to fight back. And of course, they have this ant meet, and they're trying to discuss what they should do, and they're trying to discuss if Merry and Pippin are actually orcs, and it takes them forever to do so. And yeah, they are just really slow talkers. So, meanwhile, while all this is happening, Sam and Frodo, they arrive to the dead marshes first, and there's a lot of flames and pools where you look and you can fall into them and you become part of the dead. And Frodo looks into one, and he falls down, and he witnesses, like, the dead. It's a really well done scene, and it looks like it's a horror scene. And Gollum pulls him out. And whether he did it to save the ring and to save Frodo, that is still in the debate. I think that he just saved him for the ring. And so they have this nice conversation, Frodo and Gollum, about what Gollum's name was before he got corrupted. His name was Smeagol, and Gollum is touched by Frodo's kindness. Just before Nazgul arrives right overhead, and we discover that the Nazgul are now on wings, which is awesome. I love this scene. When, like, I first saw the movie, like, I couldn't believe it. When you see the Nazgul flying on the dragon, it's like, oh my god, they're even more powerful now. And so they finally get to the Black Gate, but there's no way for them to go through the Black Gate. It's just way too guarded, and there's a bunch of soldiers that walk through there, and Sam falls down with the rock. Frodo goes to save Sam, and they are almost discovered, but Frodo uses his elven cloak, and they sort of become a magic rock. And they try to get in there. Like, I know they're small, but they would have been found, like, immediately. Gollum stops them. He pulls Frodo back, and he tells them that there's another way, a secret passage up in the mountains. And so Frodo agrees with Gollum's plea despite Sam's reluctance. And so they make camp. Gollum brings Frodo some rabbits, and Sam makes two out of them. Gollum hates that. I love Sam's line, potatoes. They see elephants, and they are captured by Faramir. Faramir is a lot different here than in the books. I don't mind movie Faramir, to be quite honest with you. Like I said in the beginning, I think that movie Faramir is well done. And I know that they needed another climax for Frodo and Sam because the timelines here are different than in the books. So I sort of don't mind that they go to Osgiliath. It's a detour, but he lets them go. He's just like tempted by the ring, and like the ring tempts everybody. So like I don't mind the change. I really don't. I get why some people don't like it though. It's very different. He discovers that Gollum is with them as well. Gollum sneaks into the Forbidden Pool, and he tricks Gollum, and he tricks Frodo, and then he captures Gollum. And Gollum thinks that Frodo betrayed him. So they are now captured, and Faramir brings him to Osgiliath, and they are attacked by a Nazgul. Frodo brings the ring to the Nazgul. He's almost too far gone at this point. Sam stops him. Faramir shoots the Nazgul, and the Nazgul escapes. And Sam has this really great speech. I love it. They are let go by Faramir, and he really doesn't care about what his father will say. And I love the flashback here in the extended edition where we see the scene between Faramir and Denethor and Boromir. That's one of my favorite additions. It's just a fantastic scene, and it should have been in the original theatrical film, but it wasn't. For Gondor. We understand like Faramir a little more with this scene, and I think that it should have been kept. The Ents decide that they will not fight in this war, and of course, Merry and Pippin are heartbroken, and Pippin has actually this brilliant idea of leading Treebeard to the dead trees that Saruman burned. Treebeard sees this devastation, and he decides to fight one last time, the last march of the Ents, he calls it. And I love like his reaction. He's like, "A wizard should know better," and he just yells out. It's just a really great moment, and then we see all the trees, and they are heading straight to Isengard and destroy his Orc army. It's just a really fantastic moment, and I love the scene that follows where they attack Isengard, and Orthanc is just overrun by water. It's a beautiful moment. Yeah, the Rohan soldiers are overrun. Most of the elves have died here because we don't really know what happens to the elves in Return of the King, so I'm guessing most of them died. It's really sad when Hadir passes away. It's a really sad moment. This entire battle sequence, Helm's Deep, is just really well filmed. I love a lot of moments in the battle, like Legolas sliding down the stairs with the shield and killing orcs with his arrows. That's a great moment. I love when Gimli and Aragorn go help Theoden barricade the doors. They go outside and they kill a bunch of orcs, and Gimli says, "Toss me." That's a great moment as well. And I love when they retreat, and Theoden is almost ready to abandon. He is spent, and Aragorn actually convinces him to retaliate. He convinces him to go out and meet them. And I love Gimli's line, like, "The sun is rising." They know that Gandalf is about to come, and that gives Theoden, like, more hope. And so they charge out in the battlefield, and they slay as much Uruk-hai as they can. And Gandalf arrives, and he helps Theoden defeat the Uruk-hai army with Eomer, and they survive the night. It's an epic moment, and I love this because Gandalf arrived exactly when he was supposed to. He's not late. which harkens back to his line in Fellowship of the Ring to Frodo. It's just a really fantastic little detail here. And so they win the battle, but as Gandalf says, they haven't won the war yet, and Sam and Frodo are still alone in the wilderness. They're following Gollum, and he is planning to bring them to Shelob so that he can take the ring once she eats them. And this is where our movie ends. We get a brilliant shot of the Tower of Sauron and Mount Doom, which is really beautiful and haunting shot. And we get also Gollum's song, which is beautiful. It's really perfect song to end this film. I really enjoyed Two Towers. It's my least favorite of the trilogy, but it's still a damn good film. It is really well worth watching. It gets an A for me. It's just really wonderful. Let me know what you thought about Two Towers down in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.